Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another super exciting unboxing, something that I've wanted to take a look at for a long time, and this was made possible not by Hogue or any retailer, but by an awesome viewer named Derek, who sent a huge number of knives that I've just been desperately wanting to get my hands on, and since I can't afford to buy everything and I can't always get people to send me exactly what I want, this was just a huge blessing. So thank you so much to Derek for trusting me with so many of your really cool knives. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me, and please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. We have a Hogue. Man, I love Hogue. I think they're one of the most underrated knife companies out there right now, especially when we're talking USA manufacturing. They are really putting out some awesome stuff, especially when we think about their pricing versus their real competition. And when I say real competition, I mean other companies making things in the USA and not China, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but it's a lot more expensive to manufacture things in the USA. And so when they're getting these prices down where they're at, it's really impressive, considering it's 2024 and everything is expensive. So anyways, what do we have here? The Mysto. This is a collector series knife, as you probably could have guessed because it says in gold right here. And it is expensive, right? But I'm going to give you my thoughts on that here. I haven't actually opened it yet. I saw on the outside there that it said Mysto, and I was like, oh boy. So what we have here is a knife that is very similar to the Hogue Deca and the Benchmade Bug Out. But I'm really, the first thing right off the bat, it feels like a much more robust knife, and part of that is of course due to the fact that we are looking at titanium, which actually has some beautiful texturing on it. That's really nice. I'm a big fan of the red thumbs. Right off the bat, I can tell you, I'm not a huge fan of the Bug Out, and I had to modify mine to get it to, a spot where I enjoyed it. It was actually, I'm going to get two knives out here to compare to. My S90V Benchmade Bug Out. And then here's a Hogue Deca that's been modified by, the scales are from Original Goat. But I just hated the injection mold plastic that the Bug Out came with. There's a point where a knife is so lightweight that I just hate it, and it feels delicate. Even though I know it isn't, the Bug Out is a plenty capable knife. I just don't like how it feels, right? And I want that part of my brain to be satisfied, even though that part of my brain is not logical, right? So right off the bat, this is bigger, which I love that. The scales definitely feel more robust. Now, these are aftermarket scales that are Flytanium, but they are about the same thickness as the standard scales. And you can see right off the bat there, this is slightly thicker and slightly more robust. We have a longer blade that's been tumbled, and this is also CPM Magna Cut. And if you're wondering how's it been heat treated, I looked it up on their website, 62 to 64, which is perfect. Perfection, yes. The same that Malfoy says when he says Potter, like that's it's the right zone we want to see it in, right? That's great. And Hogue does that with their 20CV, with their M390. That's awesome. The action on this is just superb. Does it run on? I gotta check because it's so smooth. I'm not convinced it's actually washers. Is that really washers? Good Lord. It might not be, guys. It might not be. It might be bearings. Honestly, I don't really care. This isn't the review. I have to actually carry it and use it before I'm going to review it. So I'm just giving you my initial thoughts. The Mysto is an expensive knife, and you can buy less expensive American-made knives, right? What you're paying for in this case is a well-made USA product, and you're paying extra for the luxury of titanium, which is not a material that is really adding a massive amount of potential utility to your knife, and you should know that. Titanium is great. It's very durable. It's non-magnetic, which is important to some people, and it is also, it basically can't corrode. So that's nice. For people like me, I just like titanium because titanium. I don't really need much of a reason. I just like titanium and feel, titanium feel luxury, feel good, right? It's fine. I accept that caveman part of my brain it likes it for that reason. The reason I'm getting so excited about this knife is because just before this video, directly before I recorded this, and you guys probably saw that one a few days ago, I recorded all of my content's pre-recorded, right? Which is why the time's not making sense. I recorded the unboxing of the Benchmade Narrows. which is very arguably tackling the same exact market. This is an ambidextrous bar lock that's utilizing omega springs. Titanium scales, lightweight and compact and on the thinner side. Yeah, the Narrows is a little thinner. Would you guys like to know the price difference between those two knives? You already know. This guy is coming in at about I think it's the same as what it says on the box, about $330. Now that's a lot of money. But when we consider the US manufacturing element, right? Maybe Benchmade is making a few more of their parts in the US. I honestly don't know. I've always assumed that Hogue is creating they have the same manufacturing process in terms of how much of their stuff is made in the USA. The Narrows comes in at $522. That's almost $200 more. Why? I don't, you know what? I've got it right here. This is crazy. I can't, man. I've been so amped up to talk about these because, I mean, like I've enjoyed a lot of the other stuff that I've been talking about here lately, but I just have desperately wanted to give my thoughts on these after handling them, and I don't want to give my opinion until I actually have it in hand, because that's what I preach. You can only judge a picture and information on paper to a certain extent, right? So I always want to save my real, emotion for when I handle them. The Narrows is definitely thinner, not by much. Here, we'll measure it. Now I can say right now that the Benchmade is probably going to have, the geometry of the Narrows is going to allow it to be a better slicer. 78 thousandths. That's really thin, right? Almost, I'm going to make an argument there, might be needlessly thin for the vast majority of people. The Mysto is coming in very thin, not quite as thin, but nobody out there is going to say 110 thousandths is a thick stock. Now, this does also allow, if you look here, the taper width, people say, oh, it's a taller blade, but look where the flat is, right? So I don't trust these calipers to get an accurate like behind the edge thickness measurement, and this is why I don't normally do this. Yeah, see, I don't trust that. It says 20. That's what I'm getting there. But I don't trust that. Do you guys trust that? People always ask me, why don't you do behind the edge? Because I don't trust this. I don't trust these to be accurate. And I know people are going to say, well, you got to spend money on some better stuff. I think that there's still quite a bit of variation. See, if I want to, I can get this. I can almost, it looks like it's really close. Don't trust that. I'm going to slice a piece of paper and just go with my gut here. So Narrows, great slicer. No argument. This, good, not quite as thin, right? So maybe that is accurate. But listen, does it justify an additional $200? No, come on. I would say that this is more interesting to look at, right? There's no way. I can't imagine that there's any part of this knife that costs that much more. Everything here is essentially identical. We've got some what are probably aluminum or titanium. This guy's not going to be titanium because it's red, right? Maybe the Narrows has all titanium hardware. Should we test that with a magnet? Sure. Nope, that's steel. And so is the hardware. So, steel, right? Okay, so we have a Magna Cut blade, and we've got an M390 blade, right? Let's just say those are both premium steels. We got, one's a little thicker than the other, but the Mysto, while still way, way too expensive for the vast majority of people, it's just, I'm like, what are we doing here? Benchmade. I'm a huge Benchmade fan, which is why I'm so passionate about this. I'm not trying to crap all over Benchmade just to rile everybody up. No, because I don't think that does anything. I think people like to complain just to complain, and they don't actually seek a better outcome, right? If for some magical reason the Narrows just cost that much more to make, then something needs to happen to where Benchmade is able to produce knives that are, in a much more reasonable territory where they can still profit, right? They have to make money. Now, I'm not against companies making money. I just don't understand how Hogue can do this for $330 Which again, a lot of people will look at the Mysto and say that's overpriced at $330. I would disagree with you. I think that's actually a pretty good price considering it's made in the USA. But it's just like, who are they trying to compete with? Are we going to pretend that we're in Chris Reeve territory here, that we're in Les George territory, Rick Hinder, Demko, right? Spartan Harzy, is that the territory that we're competing with? Because I would say no. There's no competition there. It's thinner, yeah, but I mean, you could Spartan blades or Les George, they could just make a thinner version of their knife, and it would perform the same, but still have all of that extra polishing, that extra feel that comes with a truly more premium blade. I don't want to get into that argument here, but very specifically, I'm pretty impressed with this. This feels good. This feels like the bug out I wanted to have. A lot of people are going to say that they ripped off the bug out, and I always make the same argument there. The bug out doesn't have any elements that are actually original. The bug out's a good design. It's a good model for a lot of people, but it's got a drop point blade with a basic, like time-tested, extremely common knife handle. It's not a unique configuration, right? So I actually really like this. And it's a shame that this is limited. The Mysto in titanium should be a regular thing. But this is pretty cool. I like this. I think he needs to tighten it up a bit. Maybe that's why the action was so impressive. Hold on. I noticed the blade was... This is a user. This isn't brand new. So I noticed the blade was ever so slightly off-centered. And I felt a little bit of play in there. So I want to see if maybe we can tighten this up. Is this T10? No, of course it's not. Of course it's not. That would make this too easy. Let's... Where are we at? T8? Okay. Hold on now. Bear with me, everybody. Just give it a little bit of a crank there. Okay, now we're centered, but definitely too tight. All right. So that tells me that there's a good chance that it really is on washers. And that's the kind of thing that you have to fiddle with here and there, right? I'm going to make micro adjustments here until I can get it to a right there. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so we're great there. Absolutely. And can I mash it and get it? Where are we at? Very, very close. Without taking it apart, I don't know for sure, but the way that that's acting is washers, but perhaps I'm wrong. In any case, that's a much better price. If you're trying to buy something that's made in the United States, I feel like Hogue knows where they're at. They know, right? I mean, it's a lot like Pricetag. I feel like Pricetag is also pricing their things accordingly. Like they're not just trying to pretend like we're in this next tier, and I feel like maybe that's what's happening with Benchmade a little bit. They have other knives that I think are, in a much better position when it comes to pricing, but I don't want to help fuel a firestorm that is just this continuous no end people like complaining about pricing. I want there to be resolve at some point. I would love it for Benchmade to come out with something that feels good, looks like extra, is priced correctly, is priced competitively, right? And then people actually buy it and enjoy it. I would like that because that is a positive outcome. I don't like the idea of just crapping on a company for the sake of crapping on them. Like I'm a knife guy. I want to handle things that make me happy. I want to handle things that I enjoy carrying, right? I like that. I don't thrive off negativity, and I don't think anybody else should either. So please understand, if you made it to the end of the video, it's not what I want. I know that's what's going to come out of the comment section, but I would love for Benchmade to just blow my mind, right? Got a soft spot in my heart for Benchmade after enjoying so many of their products over the years. So anyways, Hogue Misto, really cool. Can't wait to carry that one. I'm actually going to be carrying both of these a lot over the next few weeks. So I'll have my thoughts gathered, but I mean, there would have to be a miracle to occur for carrying and experiencing the Narrows and then it justifying a nearly $200 increase in price. So I don't know. Thank you so much to Derek for sending these in, letting me take a look at them. Really cool. Big fan of that one. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.